What's going on, guys? Welcome to day 2 of working on the Red Civic Si. Turned out I ended up taking my engine hoist back to my house. Apparently we were tripping over it here at the shop in the beginning of winter. So my father helped me load it up and I took it home. So I brought that back out here. And then my father was kind enough to help me remove the engine and transmission out of the car where we left off with Corey. All we had to do is pull the bolts out of the engine mounts, drop the engine down, and set it on a tire. So today's mission is going to be swapping out the gearbox. Alright guys, so what we're going to do is get this wiring harness taken off this engine. I already started trying to pull this fuel injector clip out, and I mean it just basically pulled the wire straight out. So there's going to be a lot of stuff my buddy Mark is going to end up having to figure out and how to fix this for me. I'm going to have to toss him a couple bucks. But these clips apparently needed pliers to get pulled off because they didn't like to get pulled out by hand. Got distilled water spilled all over this from the coolant system above me. Just kind of stick with the whole pliers idea so I don't break any more clips. I also have carpal tunnel, so that's not fun dicking with that. Get a 10 mil. Really got to look into eventually getting my tool cart out here so I can not have to dick around with my track box. Track box is handy and all when you're at the racetrack and you just need a couple tools at a time, but when you're trying to really work on the car, you're trying to constantly pick up tools out of the way of other tools, it's probably just better to get a proper tool cart where the tools can be spaced out instead of just thrown into a little bin. Take that off. Let's see, knock sensor. I gotta remember how to take the knock sensor off. It's been a while since I've taken these harnesses all apart, but as you can see, like this connector here is, you know, seen some abuse. Same with this one here for the TPS sensor, idle intake air temp. Got the distributor disconnected off, VTEC solenoid. Get the pliers again. Some right here. Coolant temp, careful with that pulling off. Got a 10 mil for the ground, it goes on the thermostat housing. When you guys are doing work like this, just get in the habit of putting the bolts back where they belong so that way you can not misplace those. Speed position or speed sensor. Man, all the connectors just need some good. There we go. Coolant temp. All that's really left now is knock sensor. Flathead screwdriver.
Oh, you gotta love it. Come on, break the seal. Gotta love it. All right, that doesn't want to come off, so trim the hose. Go right about here. Probably help if I had a sharper razor blade. See this one sharper? Yeah. That one will do. It's a little bit sharper. There we go. Nice little slit down here. Ta-da! All right, that's out of the way. Yeah, that's what you want in all your connectors. You want water to spill over everything. Alert control valve. I just got to get this knock sensor off. Looks like that's screwed into a bung. Oh, there we go. There we go. And the engine harness is out. Then I dropped it off to my buddy Mark. Have him repair that fuel injector clip, as well as the connector that got damaged on, or the wiring that got damaged on the crank position sensor. And we'll go from there. All right, so what are we gonna need? We're gonna need 14, 17, and I believe a 19. Let's get my gloves on. These gloves have seen some better days. Alright, so we're going to need the 14 first. One starter bolt. There's the 2 bolts. Pull the starter out. Set the bolts back in. Stick her in the drawer for now. Now we got to get the T-bracket. $17. I think this side and the back are 19s. Correct. So we'll get these 19s off. that out. Sorry for hitting the camera. At least that's probably help if I took the 14 mil off and stick the 17 back on. Yeah, and get the habit of putting all the hardware back where you got it from. Slip that in there. At this point, grab my ratchet strap. That'll hold. It's not an ideal scenario. Mark, the guy who's going to be fixing my harness, also has my the proper tool used for doing this, my load positioner. So just make it do with old ratchet straps, and we'll get this thing up in the air a little bit. Now what we can do is we can rotate the engine a little bit, scoot it in, and can get these bolts out. You know what? I know chromies are not advised for this stuff, but gotta do what I gotta do. One on the inside here. Last one on the back side. Gearbox is now free. Get this cooling hose out of the way. Thread that up here. Come on. There we go. That washer goes to the shift linkage. All right, one transmission off. So we got the transmission off of the engine. Clutch is all right in this car. I have contemplated taking the sprung disc and putting that in the Integra build. Since most of the time when I run the race cars, I run an unsprung ACT. This has a sprung ACT clutch disc in there. Looks to be a heavy duty pressure plate, which is the same one I run on all my cars, but I'm gonna leave that as is. More than likely it's still fine. I haven't had any problems with clutch slippage or anything like that. Take the transmission to my buddy at MWA Garage, have him rebuild this one. I might drop off another one that I picked up not too long ago, but that's a stock gearbox. I would have to get another OS Geek and diff if I really had the money to spend, or I could just put the Type R diff and leave it in there and rock a helical, and maybe that'll go in the Integra. Or I might go in another project. We'll see. But I'm gonna get the engine sat on the tire. I think I'm gonna call it quits here.